Hey everyone, Richard Metalfan here, bringing you guys a brand new 2017 album review. And today we're going to be looking into the new album from the Faceless entitled In Becoming a Ghost, which came out through Sumerian Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Faceless, they're a technical death metal or extreme metal, whatever you want to classify them as, hailing all the way from Los Angeles, California. They formed in 2004. Uh, they put out their first album in 2006, which is Alcodema, which in that album they had that style of that album they were more of a deathcore band, which I think is a solid album. A lot of people will sort of have like it, and a lot of people will sort of have mixed feelings about it. But I think it's a somewhat good album. It's a good way to start their album. But then in their next album came out in 2008, Planetary Duality, that kind of ditched the deathcore style and went with more of the technical death metal style, which is what they're known for. And I think the album is all right, but like just like a little bit of the production flaws. Like I think the drums kind of sound a little bit triggered, like kind of clicky. Production side was weird. And then like 2012, their last album, Autotheism, which 5 years we're waiting for some new music from the Faceless, and this new album, In Becoming a Ghost, is the follow-up to 2012's Autotheism. So 5 years, like I said, we were waiting for new music for the Faceless to come out. And does this album live up to Autotheism? In my honest opinion, wow. I mean, this freaking melted my fucking face off, and I freaking became faceless. See what I did there? And this album features a new lineup with 3 new members. And of course, only the original member is Michael Keane, their guitarist. And this has another new guitar player, Justin McKinney of the Zenith Passage, which he's a killer guitar player. Here, checked out some of his stuff online, and just some really great riffs he comes up with on this album. And new vocalist Kevin Sorceron of Abigail Williams. Like his just growls are just really just insanely brutal. And drummer Chasen Westmoreland, I forget his name, but yeah, just a sick drummer. Like wow, and the production is just really great. The drums are really really great played and just very precise. The bass is solid, and the guitars are good, and just what can I say about Michael Keane's, like the riffs are just really good, just precise and clean. And he also does some there are some songs where he actually does some clean vocals, which I know some people don't really like, but I honestly don't really have a gripe with that. It's still a great album, a good great singer, I should say. Kind of got tongue-tied, sorry. Without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, it starts off with the title track, In Becoming a Ghost, which is just an interesting spoken word intro, which sets up into the next song, Digging the Grave, which right out of the gate, I'm hooked on the song. From the opening riff, just some heavy, dissonant chaoticness halfway through, and it just really just it adds up. And there's like a fucking flute solo in there, which is just what? Oh, it's a good song. Next song is Blackstar, which kind of has a little bit of a progressive feel to it, with mostly the vocals are sung in clean vocals, which musically it reminds me a little bit of Cynic, a bit. Kind of has like that vibe to it, which I think is a pretty good song, and I love it. Next song on here is Cup of Mephistopheles. I've probably butchered that, which is the darkest song on here. Just some really heavy, and also you can hear kind of like an influence of like industrial metal and black metal. Just some really tight riffage and just some really moody melodies throughout the song. And then we go into The Spiraling Void, which is the oldest song on here since this song first debuted in 2015. Just some really crushing riffs, and just covers a lot of scaling leads on this track alone. Which, yeah, I mean, when I first heard this 2 years ago, I was like pumped, and I honestly they still dig it now. It's a great tune. And then we go into Shake the Disease, which is an interesting song because this is actually a cover song originally done by Depeche Mode, which is actually one of the heavier tunes on this album. And honestly, I'm not really a Depeche Mode fan. I never really listened to them beforehand, but I just checked out the original before I listened to this one. And honestly, I prefer for the Faceless' cover over the original. Fight me. But then again, I'm not really a Depeche Mode fan. That's just me. Anyway, moving on to I Am, which kind of shows more of a classic example of the Faceless. Facts, complex riffing throughout, and just some crazy sporadic solos, and just the solos are slow and soulful. We can definitely kind of like feel the emotion of the solos. And then the album sort of like breaks off into a Ghost Reprise, which is another spoken word track, which kind of like breaks the flow of the album. It's kind of like more of a texture to the overall feel of this album. And then we go into Instrumental Illness, which, like, the way it was titled, it has like the INSTRU and like parentheses with mental illness, which is like, as you could tell, it's an instrumental track, and I really like it, as it pretty much shows off the band as a whole. Just some really tasty bass work, and it's just short and sweet. A good song. And then the album closes with The Terminal Breath, which I thought is a solid closer. A good way to sort of wrap up this album. Now, overall, In Becoming a Ghost by the Faceless is a solid album to their discography. If I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. If you're a fan of the Faceless, or if you like technical death metal style or deathcore, or whatever you want to classify them as, or if you're a fan of any of those genres I mentioned, you should check this album out. It's pretty good. But yeah, that's my review of the new Faceless, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next review, or video I should say, and keep it metal.